Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the sky and that I like. Hair from Cali, I live in the valley. Then you look sexy. Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the sky and that I like. Hair from Cali, I live in the valley. Then you look sexy.
Yo! It's official. Like a referee with a whistle. Like, share this episode. You know, this is a late nighter. I'm doing it like I used to do it. You did. No. So, hey, like, share the video, and, you know, I'm going to do like I always do when I come on here. I'm going to say what's on my mind, and we're going to go out and make it happen, you know. But, you know, there's a lot of craziness going on in this wacky world that we live in, which is pretty common, you know. A lot of noise, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. Some don't know what they're doing, you know. But you shouldn't let that stop you from doing whatever you're doing, you know. But that's one thing I learned over the past 20 years. Most people that you know, and most people that I know, most people don't really know what they're doing. Most people really don't have it all figured out. But we think just because these people that we see on television, especially, we think just because they suited and booted or got on a nice dress suit and she's attractive, we just assume that they got it all figured out and they got it together. And nothing can be further from the truth. You know, most people that you know, I don't care how old they are either. That's another thing. You know, now if they're in the 60s, okay, that's a different story. You know, but if they're in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, especially if it's a woman, they don't have it all figured out. You best believe that. Don't believe the hype. You know, See, women, they move based on feelings. So whenever a woman says something that's a little off, or you be like, yo, that bitch is crazy. It's just all based on what she's saying is based on feelings. Like the other day, somebody sent me a clip of what's the lady name? Ebony Williams. I think that's the last name. Ebony Williams. I think she used to be a reporter. Well, not a reporter. She used to work at the I think at the news station. Like here where I live. I used to actually see her back in the day. Somebody had to refresh my memory. Because her family, she's from here. But I had to remember where I used to see her at. Somebody had to remind me. Yeah, her family's from here, where I live. Now I don't know them personally, but I used to see Ebony. This is over 10 years ago. This is like 13, 14 years ago. I used to see her when I used to work at Bank of America. I used to see her going to work. No, I didn't work nights. So I went well, yeah, I did work morning sometimes. I used to see her going to work early. It's like 6:30 in the morning back in the day. And I used to see her leaving too sometimes. Sometimes I work days and sometimes I work in the morning. So I used to see Ebony. But I never really heard her say anything. I didn't really talk to her like that, but a friend of mine used to talk to her a lot at the time, you know. But she seemed cool. This is back then, though. I don't know what. She ended up moving somewhere else. I think she moved to Louisiana somewhere. I think New Orleans or something like that. A couple of years ago, and now she lives in New York. So, the company you keep has a lot to do with how people act, who they become along their journey. So I saw the video of her with Yellow Van Zant, the beloved one. And she said, I think Yellow asked her if would she date a bus driver. And she said, I would if he owned the bus. Now, if you pay attention to the interview, it's how she said it, how she responded more than anything else. That's what people didn't like. Now, if she would have came out and said, hey, sometimes it's not what you say, is how you say it. And I saw the whole interview. And it seems like they weren't really on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Ebony basically was saying she's looking for someone that can provide. She didn't really give a damn about love, the character of the guy. She don't give a shit about none of that shit. She comes across as very masculine. And I saw the interview on the Breakfast Club, and she came across very masculine again. But the one thing she did say, she did admit that in so many words, when she was being interviewed by Yala Van Zant, she did say that she have a hard time turning her masculine side off. So she did admit to that, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it cool. That don't mean that some guy is willing to put up with that bullshit, And just because you got some money and you established, we don't give a fuck about that shit. We don't care how much education you got. We'll take a bitch that work at Shoney's restaurant. As long as she's attractive and support us and don't talk too goddamn much, we'll take a bitch that work at the restaurant with no education. We don't give a damn about that, how much money you got and how educated you are. And just because you went to Ivy League school, we don't care nothing about that shit. Most guys don't. That's not really a turn on for most guys. So that's, the shit she's talking about, nobody really cares. Yala Van Zant was trying to help her out, but she didn't have enough sense to catch on during the interview, which tells me she's not that bright. Now there's a lot of women out here that might be book smart, but they don't got no common sense. You're not that smart after all. You done spend all that money going to college, and you're not that bright. You're not that smart because you can't solve your problems, your personal problems. So all the college and education you paid is all for nothing. Because you gonna end up by yourself in most cases. I mean, somebody like Ebony anyway. I know a lot of women like Ebony. They're alone and they got their careers. That's all they got is a job. But they're very unhappy and very depressed. Very unhappy and depressed. Most guys don't like being around them. And she worked in the circles that she's around. She comes across a lot of guys, and if she ain't got, if nobody got up on her, or at least if she ain't catch yet, it's a problem. Something wrong. She's around probably hundreds and thousands of guys, on an annual basis, yearly. Plus, I think she was with some white guy. White man let her go. So yeah, white man won't put up with it, Yeah. But hey, hopefully she'll smarten up and figure out that the shit is much bigger than her or what she want. You know what I'm saying? You got to become the person that you want. You have to create a safe space for guys to come in, or at least so guys can feel like, hey, I like being around this woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women can't have a hard time trying to figure that out. They don't know what to do. See, they know it, which is bullshit. See, a lot of women can figure out what to do when they're at the job. But in their personal life, they can't figure it out. Isn't that something? So it's some bullshit. We put in the time, and we find all the time and effort to do things that we really care about. See, some people just don't care about about things enough to do anything about it. That's the problem. That's their problem, though, not mine or yours. Doesn't matter how tired we are, we'll find the energy. We'll make time for the things that we really, really care about. When we all fed up and sick and tired, being sick and tired, that's when we be like, oh, I got to do something about this shit. Can't take it no more. You know, that's what it's going to really take for most people. And it shouldn't have to come to that point, but that's usually how it goes. You know, people don't change until they start to feel the heat. The heat is on. And that's when they get motivated to do something about whatever problems they may have, you know. And this don't got nothing to do with being nice either. This don't got nothing to do with being a nice guy and all this bullshit. At this point, what's the benefit of being nice? Think about it. What's the benefit? Why even focus on being nice? What's the benefit? Yeah, what's the benefit? I don't even think like that. I don't even walk around and be like, I'm trying to be a nice guy. And a lot of guys wear that shit like a badge of honor. You know? They wear it like a badge of honor. Like, they brag like, man, I'm a nice guy, man. I deserve this and I deserve that. So to whose standards? Just because you sound like a woman. Just because you're a nice guy, that don't mean you deserve anything. That's the entitlement mentality. That's the same shit women say. A woman will say, hey, I'm a nice woman. I deserve better. Says who? And how do you know who said you were nice? People will kiss your ass. Men and women will kiss your ass. Women will kiss your ass because they don't want to hurt your feelings. And guys will kiss your ass because they just want to fuck. But just because you're a good woman or just because you're a nice guy, that don't mean you're not entitled to anything. You get what you catch. Like my dad used to tell me. You get what you catch. There's a lot of nice guys out here that's starving, can't take care of themselves, can't pay their bills. What's the benefit of being a nice guy? Why is that even a goal for some guys? I never set out to be a nice guy. I don't even think like that. I just want to be respected amongst my peers. And I want to be able to take care of myself, my family. Hopefully I'll have some kids and they'll be in a much better position than I was when I was growing up. And I can help my friends. We can do business together. And I can help other people do the same damn thing if they want to. That's it. I never really, being nice is not even on my list of things to accomplish. I always look at it like I like being around bad bitches and around my friends and family, people that I love and care about. And I like having enough money in my pocket to pay my bills and do whatever I want to do, whatever I want to do, and whoever I want to do it with. That was my goal in life. I never bragged about being a nice guy. You know, I was talking to a woman a couple days ago, and she likes hanging around a lot of women. And she was like, your friend is the type that will take a man's side versus a woman's side. And I was like, you goddamn right. That's a good move. Where's the benefit when it comes to being friends with women? What's the benefit? Oh, women ain't going to take care of you. Women don't take care of other women. They'll hang out with other women, have a good time, but ain't no woman going to pay your bills. Ain't no other woman going to do that shit. A man will pay your bill if you a woman, but ain't no other woman going to do that. She might do you a favor if you fall on some hard times, or let you stay with her if you fall on some hard times, but that shit ain't gonna last for but so long. That ain't gonna last but so long. She gonna be like, God damn, you been here for 6 months. Well, what's the time for you to bust a move? Shit. And most women don't even like each other. They tolerate each other. So what's the benefit of hanging around a bunch of women all the time? I never got an answer, because there is no benefit. You just got a bunch of losers hanging together just because you don't have nothing else to do with your time. Well, shit, I'll stay home. I'd rather stay home by myself and watch Hulu or Netflix, or do something productive with myself. Go work out or some shit. I don't hang out or just be hanging out with anybody just because I'm bored. You need to get it. You got too much time on your hands if you be hanging out with people just because you're bored. If somebody says, hey, I'm bored, what you doing? I don't respond to messages like that. If your ass is bored, well, I don't need to be hanging around you. You got too much time on your hands. That's why you can't pay your bills. All that free time you got, you should be doing something productive. Trying to see how you can earn more money to pay your bills. You know, hanging with other women, there's no benefit. And if you're a guy and you just hanging out just to be hanging out and having a good time all the time, well, that ain't how long you gonna do that. If you hanging out all the time, that shit gets expensive after a while. You're already struggling. You already living from paycheck to paycheck, and you going to the clubs every week or every other week, and you complaining about how your money's low. Well, stay your ass home. And you complaining about how the woman is calling me. She called me and she want to hang out and shit. Hang out for what? Tell that bitch to come over. You don't got to be going out all the time, every time she calls. Let somebody else let some other guy do that shit. You don't got to take her out every time she calls. You take her out if you want to, but you ain't obligated to do that shit. She ain't your wife. She making demands for her. Man, look, most of these women today, well, it ain't no different, really. Even when I was growing up, most of the women are hoes. That's how it is. Most women that you know right now, they hoes. It ain't a whole lot of good women out here that's single. Most of the good women are taken. They got somebody. They don't necessarily got to be married, but they got somebody. The stranglers that you see out here, online and offline, that are single, most of them is hoes. I can just listen to how they got hoe talk. I listen to how they talk. That's hoe talk. Hoe talk is when a woman sits down and be like, I'm looking for someone to provide. That's hoe talk. If it's all about just being a good provider, that's hoe talk. You can buy a bitch like that. It's easy to get a woman like that. Do you really want to be around a woman like that long term and get married to a woman like that? That bitch gonna be a headache. I don't care how much money you got, that bitch gonna be a headache. Do you really want to be around a woman like that? I mean, come on. Well, I hope you're not that desperate. I don't care how she look. Look, I've been around women from all over the world. Good looks don't. It ain't shit to me. I'm used to being around attractive women. I don't give a damn if that bitch is out of pocket. She's out of here. She gone. I cut her off. I don't care how she look. The good looking women come dime a dozen, and most of them are taken. They get guys catch them early in the 20s, and the decent ones, the leftovers are they're in the 30s. Once they get past the 30s, oh shit. Once they hit them 40s, man, it's downhill from there. I don't even really I don't really take 40-year-old chicks serious. I mean, at this very moment right now, I don't know no 40-year-old woman that I take serious, that I respect. Now, I might have met some women in the 40s, but I've known them for a long time, 10, 15 years. But shit, they old now. They're in the 50s, them women. But even some of them are single now. Even some of them are single. And so you have to realize a lot of these women have different relationships with different guys. And the guys that they got married to, a lot of these women got married to the wrong guy. They got married to a guy that he didn't really have the mental capacity to do what they wanted, at least in their eyes anyway. You know, I mean, I give you an example. This one girl got married to a guy, and he was a street hustler. Well, and you might say, well, what's the problem with a street hustler? Well, the problem with a street hustler is, they live day to day, week to week. They don't know what the hell is gonna happen. They don't know if the door might get kicked in, or he might get caught and end up in jail and eventually prison. All kind of shit goes on with a lot of these street dudes. So why would a woman a decent woman, at least in some guys' eyes, why would a good looking woman get with a street dude? And not only get with the dude, but have kids with the dude. A lot of times, a lot of these women, they're what we call trap queens. A lot of them used to either they used to been trapping, or they've been around that shit. They grew up around guys like that. So that has a lot to do with it. They grew up in environments where people were trapping out in them streets, slinging them things. So that was natural for her. So her getting with a guy like that and having kids with a guy like that and getting married to a guy like that ain't no big deal for her. She been around them guys all her life. She grew up around them type of guys. So that's usually how that goes down. But when the guy gets locked up, now she's on her own now. That's the problem with them type of relationships. Because if I've seen situations where the woman gets caught, or they both get caught, or they hit them with a conspiracy charge or some shit like that. And the guy, in most cases, any honorable man, look, I'm not judging. Any honorable man, if they both trapping and she's helping him do the shit, 9 times out of 10, the guy's going to take all the charge. And he's going to go to jail and do all the time. Most of them, and no honorable man is going to let his wife do 10, 20 years in prison while he stay home with the kids. No, that guy's going to take the charge. That's usually how that shit go. You know what I'm saying? Now, you might say, fuck that bitch. I ain't doing it. I ain't taking no time for her. Let her do her own time. Well, that's you. That's your way of thinking. But I would say any honorable man that cares about his family, care about his kids, he's going to prefer to take the time versus his wife go to prison or his girl go to prison and he got to stay home and take care of the kids. That's usually how the game go. You know what I'm saying? It's a dirty game, and that's usually how it go. I've seen that scenario play out a couple times. Yeah, even I've seen it play out a couple times. I've heard about cases like that. I've seen. I know a guy that his whole family was about to go to jail. His dad, mom, sister, brother, but he took the time for the family. Only because they not built for that jail shit. But he knew he could do it. So that's an honorable thing to do. That's some stand-up shit. You know what I'm saying? You might say, hey, that's some bullshit. But look, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here to judge. I'm gonna tell you how the shit is out here. This shit ain't pretty out here. On the surface level, it might look cool because, You go out of town, go on a vacation, hang out with the girls or whatever, work your job, but it ain't pretty out here. People are struggling out here. And see, the reason why so many guys have problems because they don't know what they're looking at when they're out here. They don't really understand what's going on out here. This is why a lot of guys get caught off guard. They don't really know. They don't understand what's going on. And some of them just don't know what's going on. And some of them are kind of in denial. You know, it's like some guys are trying to run away from racism. What type of shit is that? They're trying to run away from racism. You can't run away from that shit. That shit is everywhere. You work a job, your job is racism. You can't run from nothing. What world are you living in? I mean, you can lie to yourself and act like it don't exist, or you're fooling yourself. At this point, what world are you living in? Even rich people said a rich person would not disagree with what I'm talking about tonight. A white rich man or white rich woman would not disagree with what I'm talking about tonight. If you catch them, I don't know, off camera or at the bar or some shit like that. So if a rich white person is honest and wouldn't disagree with what I'm talking about, why would you disagree? It don't make no damn sense. But I know some guys, most guys are cowards. So I understand. But at some point, I think most guys have a breaking point, you know, where it's like they just can't take it no more. They just got to speak their mind. And whatever happens, happens. Whatever goes, goes, and they'll just deal with it. There's some guys like that, they have a breaking point. Even the biggest coward at some point is going to break, you know, at some point. But, you know, at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, how's your program working? And where's the benefit? That's what you have to ask. You know, whether you disagree with me or agree, I don't care. It's your life. But at some point, you gotta have to ask yourself, how's your program working? And what's the benefit? What's the benefit of you being around certain women? What's the benefit of you being around certain guys? I mean, what's the benefit? You're gonna have to ask yourself that. You have to do a self-analysis of yourself. Everybody should. I do it all the time. Everybody should do it. You know, you shouldn't be walking around this world, this planet, willy-nilly and just winging it. If you're winging it, you wonder why shit don't work out for you. Winging it don't work. That don't work. Walking around acting dumb and silly don't work. Kissing people's ass don't work. Kissing people's ass ain't working the way it used to. People getting fired. That's been kissing ass all these years now. That don't work. That's not working that well no more. Trying to make people comfortable with you, that don't work. You need to put yourself in a position where you have options. You have options, as many as you can, as many as you can come up with. I mean, when I was working a job, when I was working a 9 to 5, I could easily walk away at any given time. I've been perfectly fine. And you say, well, why do you say that? I had more than one income. I'd be perfectly fine. You know, I wouldn't. It's so whatever the whatever drama they had going on at the job, that shit never bothered me. Not at all. I wasn't stressing at all. I just worked that shit and go home. I didn't give a fuck what they were talking about at the job. I wasn't even trying to get promoted. It wasn't gonna happen anyway. I mean, I worked plenty of jobs. I don't know. At this point, I probably had, I don't know, probably at least 100 jobs. At this point, probably 100 jobs at this point in my life. I've worked, and all of them were the same. All of them were the same. You know, all damn near all of them were the same. You know, and I always knew I had 2 to 5 years. Well, if I got past that first year, I had 2 to 5 years I was gonna have to leave. That's usually how that is. You know, because by the time you hit the 5 year mark, new management usually come in most cases, especially when it comes to these big companies. Big companies, new management usually take over that 5 year mark. That's pretty common. New management, then you have a new crew of people. The new management coming, they want to get rid of the old people and bring in the new people. You might survive, but usually you're gonna have a new group of people along with new management. You know, so new management don't really want old people there. They want to get rid of them. At least trying to find a reason to get rid of them anyway. You might survive. You know. But it's some bullshit. You got to put up with all that bullshit, you know, because you got one income or you need some validation from somebody or some shit like that, or you want to get promoted or whatever. And that shit is very stressful on most people. I don't think it's worth it. You might say, hey, you might disagree. That's fine. That's your life. I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm just telling you what I've done and what my experience has been. And everything that I write about and talk about is based on my experience and what's worked for me and what's worked for people around me. You know, whether you agree to disagree, I don't give a fuck. You know, it's your life. You're going to have to make your own decisions. You know, make your own decisions. I don't try to convince people or make people believe anything. That's a waste of damn time. You know, either you take what I say or do it your way. How's your way working? How's your program working? You might not have a program. You might just be winging it. And if you're winging it, no wonder why this shit ain't working. No wonder why you're depressed. No wonder why you have so many problems. You just listening to what women talking about. And that's your problem right there. You made it all about a woman. Putting women on a pedestal and saying it's all about her. That's that bullshit that Chris Rock said on stage. And you took Chris Rock's, some of y'all took Chris Rock serious when he said it's all about the woman. He's bullshitting around with you. Some of them guys actually took that shit serious. You took a joke from a comedian serious. That's a fucking joke. And if you make it about one person, well, you're going to get left out. It should never be about just one person. Now, somebody has to take the lead, which should be you as a man, but it should be about the group. It should never be about just one person. Because see, if you make it all about the woman, well, the bitch gonna look down on you. She ain't gonna think about you no more once you make it about her. Because women have big egos like that. So you're programming your woman to look down on you. If you put her on a pedestal, and then she's gonna leave you for some other guy. Or she might just treat you like shit. She might stay with you, but she'll treat you like shit. And then you'll be angry and upset. You don't understand why. Man, I treat her good, man. I love her. I pay all the bills and all the bullshit. Please. You know. You just ass kisser with no backbone. That's why your woman don't respect you. It ain't just about paying no bills. And see, and that's another thing. When women say they like security, that's not just about money. Security could be anything. But a lot of guys take it as, oh, she's talking about money. No, it's more than just money. Shit. If it's about money, that could be a fucking prostitute. I think a lot of people take things out of context. Or at least they think in their mind, oh, well, you gotta be talking about money. You know, if I got the money, I'll have all the bitches. No, you won't. You can't catch every bitch. Come on. What world are you living in? You can't catch them all. You can only catch a few at any given time. And you don't want to be able to catch them all. Anyway, you only need a handful, as much as you can handle, basically. And most women that you know ain't shit anyway. They just look good, smell good, might be fun to hang out with, but you can't build nothing with everybody. Some of these women are useless, man. They just look good, smell good, talk good, but they can't back up nothing. Yeah. Any woman that talks a lot, talk about what she's doing, and how much education she got, and how much money she make, and all her accomplishments, that's a red flag. That should be that should send up a red flag for you. Like, for real. That should not turn you on. When somebody like Ebony Williams start talking about she's looking for a good provider, that should not be a turn on to you. You know, when a woman starts talking like that. When she's belittling the working class people. Talking about if you're a working class guy, you shouldn't be comfortable with whatever your job is. Or you shouldn't like it. You should feel uncomfortable. especially if you're not working up to your full potential. What type of shit is that? I mean, the first video she did with, interview she did with Yala Van Zant, I mean, that was bad enough. But the second video, she tried to kind of, I guess, backtrack and kind of clean up the interview. The second video was worse than the interview with Yala Van Zant. The second video was worse, way worse. She basically doubled down on what she said. That wasn't even an apology. That was more like, shit, I said what I said and fuck it. That's basically what she was saying, really. At least that's how I took it. You know? But, hey, man. You know, I'm not really, I wasn't really impressed with, but it's saying I don't put none of these entertainers and public figures on the pedestal even. You know, I don't see them as out of my league or any of that shit. You know, I see them as just people that's they're high paying employees, basically. You know, that's how I see these entertainers. Most entertainers ain't shit either. You know, most entertainers ain't shit. You got to know that by now. You know, I remember Dick Gregory said most entertainers weren't shit. Cause he knew most of them. He meant most of them. He said that shit before he died. He said most of them motherfuckers ain't shit. He said that's why he didn't hang out with none of them. You know, because they wasn't shit. You know, I think he was the first person. Dick Gregory was the first person I heard say that shit publicly. You know, and nobody responded either to what he said. That's gangster. That's how you know people got your respect. When you talk shit about them and they don't say shit. You know. So hey, if you got anything you want to talk about, hey, click the link and come on. Otherwise, I'm getting up off here. You know. It's getting a little late. It's almost 1:00 where I'm at on the East Coast. You might be on the West Coast. You know, it's a little early over there, but hey, where I'm at, it's almost 1:00. You know, I pretty much said what I said, like Ebony did. I said what I said, and I'm sticking to it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm like Ebony Williams, baby. Shit. But yeah, you know. And P.S. and by the way, don't forget the check out my books, Boss Life Secrets and Love Can't Wait on Amazon.com. The shit that I talk about, I write about. You know, I write about this shit. I live this shit. This ain't no game. This ain't no damn this ain't no Hollywood movie. You know, if you meet me in person, this is what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always outside. I'm always outside. I travel all across America. You might see me at an event. You might see me just kicking it. You know, I'm always outside. I ain't hard to find. You know, and I know people all over this. Well, I know people all over the world, but I know some of your favorite YouTubers. A lot of these YouTubers online, I've met a lot of these guys and gals. I know a lot of them. And they're not who you think they are either. You know? It's kind of like a lot of these entertainers, rappers, singers. I know people that know a lot of these entertainers and athletes. And they're not who you think they are either. They have a persona that they've created. They're not nice guys. You think Tom Brady's a nice guy? You think Tom Brady's a nice guy? If you think Tom Brady's a nice guy, you're really naive. Tom Brady's not a nice guy. I can see through that bullshit. I can see through that bullshit. You know. Now Antonio Brown is a nice guy. But they've turned him into the bad guy. Yeah, I can see through the bullshit. Antonio Brown, he's a nice guy. He ain't gonna do nothing to you. You know, he's a nice guy. He ain't gonna jump on you. He ain't gonna beat you up if you meet him in person. He ain't gonna do nothing to you. I can see through the bullshit. All these guys that claim they like tough guys and all that shit, man, look, that's just a front. A lot of these guys will fold under pressure. I've seen the best of the best fold under pressure. All these guys that talk that tough talk, they're the first ones to fold under pressure and get to talking. That's bullshit. I've been around long enough. I lived long enough to see that most people, I'll tell you, most guys are cowards. If most guys are cowards, you know most of them will fold under pressure. That's just what it is. What's understood don't have to be spoken. You know? And I don't have to ask a guy what would he do, and I already know what he's going to do based on his personality. In most cases, and his upbringing, and who he hangs around, and his belief system. I already know what he would do. I have a pretty good idea what he would do and what he wouldn't do. If I stay around him long enough and get and got to know him. I don't have to ask him what he would do. If I know what you believe, how you live, who you hang around, and what you believe, I have a pretty good idea. You know, it ain't that hard to figure out. Shit ain't that complicated. People make it complicated. Shit ain't that complicated. It really ain't that complicated. They make it complicated so they can take your money and make you feel dumb and stupid. That's why they make it complicated. That's the game out here. Make you feel dumb and stupid so they can take your money. and then they lie to you. I mean, they were lying to you from off top. But they really gonna lie to you once you give them your money, they're gonna lie to you some more now.
No.
So that's the game. That's the game. But if you don't know the game, if you don't know, you just don't know, and you're gonna get taken advantage of. And this is worldwide. This ain't no just North America type thing. You go overseas, there's 100% chance you're gonna get taken advantage of. 100% chance you're gonna. If you go to any country and if you've never been there before, and you don't know anybody there, there's 100% chance you're gonna get taken advantage of in some way, some shape, or form. That's just how that shit is. If you don't know anybody there, and it's set up that way. That's how it is. You know, don't hate the player, hate the game. But hey, you know, that's all I got. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. Don't forget to check out the Love Can't Wait podcast. And all that good stuff. I'm out.